like your dust seals, your wiper seals in forks. The energizer spring, you can remove that as well. That'll just probably get a lot of gunge and stuff on it. So give everything a right good clean, and then just give it a good greasing up externally first, and then get it popped back in there into the top cap itself. And then before that goes back onto the dropping part of the post, which is ideally like a stanchion, give that, they're like a double lip seal, like a fork seal. Just give them a good greasing up with something like my go-to grease for suspension is Shram butter, slick greases, and they're suspension oil soluble as well, so they are specifically for use within suspension systems with suspension oils. So give that a good lubing up. I'll just do that quickly now, and then you can put that back onto your outer post, your dropping part of the post. There's a lip on that, lip uppermost onto the shaft. Just pop that into the top cap for the minute. Don't think that really has an orientation on there, but that just goes on back onto there. We need to orientate. There's like a little slot. There's a raised bit that needs to line up with one of these keys when we get it back in the post. But we'll get onto that later when we start putting it back together. Once it's all been cleaned, which this has, I'll just give that a right good greasing, and then get your keys. There's a sharpish edge and like a bluntish edge. Now the sharper of the edges is the edge that sits into the slot, and then they just push. If you keep them, if you put them in evenly, they'll just push into that slot. So just push them back in there. Quite a snug fit. This is why they don't have any. There's no wobble on the post. It's nice and firm. Right. I've cleaned inside there. There's nothing that moves up and down inside there because this piston arrangement and shaft and what have you, that's all separate. That doesn't move inside there. This piston itself here, that in the vise in the soft jaws. Yeah, that's the bit. Quite delicate shaft, really. You wonder how it, you wonder how your weight goes up and down, forcing that up and down. But it works. It's not a big problem. Yeah, so yeah, that doesn't move at all inside there. It's this that moves inside there. This is where it's all happening inside there. So I've got that nice and clean, greased up. That'll be full of crap. Give that a right good clean, and then what to do with that then as well is you've got these slots inside there. Give that a right good greasing up inside there. I mean, you can't really overdo that, to be fair. Just whack a load of grease inside that. And then, because those brass keys are going to be the bits and pieces that are sliding up and down inside those grooves, so nice good bit of grease in all them grooves will mean those brass keys will slide up and down nicely inside there. We don't want any seizing up over time. Okay, if you remember now, this was the bit, we've taken the valve core out, so there's no air pressure as such now built up in there. But with a heavily used post that's not working correctly, there's every chance with some bust seals that the air and the oil have bypassed one another, and there'll be air mixed with the oil. So again, we need to use our circlip pliers, which, if you look on that, you've got 4 little holes in there. Circlip pliers fit into there perfectly. Yeah, it's almost like a pin spanner, but a miniature arrangement. You could probably buy a pin, what I'd call a pin spanner. Right, I'm just going to grab that in the soft jaws. I've got the soft jaws positioned lower than where the threads are. The threads go into there about, I don't know, 10, 15 millimeters at the most. So when you clamp it, don't clamp where the threads are, because what you'll do is you're gripping you're actually gripping the threads against this bit you want to remove, and it's going to be quite stiff to remove. So just clamp it below those threads. Right. Anti-clockwise, counterclockwise if you're in the States, possibly Canada. Other countries use that terminology, but yeah, screws in, clockwise and anti-clockwise, just a standard thread. When you unthread this a few turns, you start to see there's an O-ring seal here. Right, again, important. I've serviced this reasonably well. I stripped it down the other day, a couple of days ago, and rebuilt it, got it working again. So this is in perfect working order. There shouldn't be any oil and air trapped. But from experience of stripping down RockShop reverb seat posts, whenever you take this seal head out, it generally always pops. Bloody oil goes everywhere. So what I tend to always do now, always at the ready with cloths and glasses on, so you don't get sprayed in the face with oil under high pressure. I mean, I don't want to be frightening people into not doing things. It's just take things slowly. Just take a few precautions. You can see these things are made to be serviced. But just don't go gung-ho into it thinking everything's all going to be perfect, because if you prepare yourself for any eventualities like things going pop, then you're generally covering yourself. That I'm just unscrewing that by hand now because it's quite loose. So I've released any air that's trapped in there now should be released because I've released the O-ring. But again, I'm just holding the shaft and I'm just unscrewing it by hand with a cloth in place because it did go pop when I took it out last time. There's that much pressure inside there. I think we're fine on this particular one. Yeah, so I've released that now. There we go. So that piston now, this is where all the oil's inside here now, so you're going to get oil and stuff dripping. That's why I've got towel laid out on the workbench here. Because you're going to, it does start getting a little bit messy now. Right, so that shaft there now is full of oil. So what I'm going to do is, that's clean oil, that, because I only put that in the other day. I'm going to pour that oil back into there. When you're servicing this post that hasn't been done for a long time, that's going to be looking pretty nasty when you remove that. So that just wants emptying out and throwing away when you do your one. Now then, unlike a reverb, we've got, make this a little bit more visible, it's exactly the same setup as a reverb. Inside there you can see there's like another little tube inside this particular shaft. We need to remove that. Now on a RockShop one, they've got little holes in it so that you can hook a blunt Allen key into it and pull it out. This one, again, they've most probably got a special